Hey guys, what's up? It's Greg Srzavasti with the Find Your Films YouTube channel. For this channel, I do physical media reviews, Blu-ray and DVD reviews. Especially, this is actually my first, I think, physical media review for this channel, and I'd like to actually spotlight underseen gems, underrated films that are released on Blu-rays and DVDs for this channel. I also have, the last 3 to 4 years, I've collected interviews with actors, filmmakers, and writers talking about their favorite movies. I haven't really used them yet, so I'm gonna actually put all that archive material and new material on this Find Your Films website and channel, YouTube channel. And also I'll be doing physical media giveaways too. So please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for your support. This is the latest deal I got, and it's going to be hard for me to find a better deal moving forward. $9.99 for the Kino Lorber release. It's KL Studio Classics release, Fixed Bayonets, written and directed by Samuel Fuller, one of my favorite filmmakers. Here's good news. I saw it for $9.99 on Kino Lorber's website. I immediately purchased it. And because its MSRP is $29.95, so I was thinking, yeah, I'm saving $20. Why not buy Fixed Bayonets? I had not seen the Samuel Fuller film, had been wanting to see it for years on end, and saving $20 was a good thing. It says here only ships to US and Canada. And unfortunately, as of this recording, it's temporarily out of stock. And hopefully down the line, just keep on checking that Kino Lorber site. To be honest, I would have gotten it at its maybe at for 20 or 25 or even at the 30. It's worth the $30 retail price, but if you can get it on sale, it's a good thing. Okay. So I'll also put where you can catch it on YouTube, and I'm sure it's available on Amazon. I'll put a Just Watch link as well for Fixed Bayonets. I'm going to do a mini review of the film, talk about the Blu-ray, and then at the end of it, I'll just talk about the spoilers, and I'll leave enough space in this video to say, hey, this video is ended, and then I'm going to talk about spoilers. Okay, so you can watch this mini review without having the end of Fixed Bayonets spoiled for you. Now, right off the top, is this movie worth watching from Samuel Fuller? Absolutely. I'm still a little bit confused why Fixed Bayonets. It's a known Samuel Fuller film, but it's not considered the cream of the crop Fuller movie. In fact, in his book, A Third Face, there's only about several pages devoted to this film. It did well at the box office. In 1951, first of all, there's not a lot of movies made about the Korean War. And yeah, Samuel Fuller made two Korean War films in 1 year, that year being 1951. First, he made The Steel Helmet. Most of it was shot at Griffith Park, California, here in California. And the second one was shot, I believe, from listening to this commentary for Fixed Bayonets, was shot within the studio confines. But what's interesting is when you watch the movie, it doesn't feel like an enclosed backlot studio space. There seems to be really some authentic locations behind this movie. So I don't know if there's any books written about Fixed Bayonets. I looked at Samuel Fuller's autobiography to talk about the design, the locations, and he didn't really mention it in this film. So anyways, the commentary is great. I'll get to that in a second. Another reason to purchase or watch Fixed Bayonets is towards the end of the movie, it features an uncredited uncredited appearance by James Dean. So James Dean is at the end of Fixed Bayonets. Now, the plot line behind this film, it centers on this person, this Corporal Deno, played by Richard Basehart. He is the leader of the movie. I mean, he's the lead star in the movie, Richard Basehart. He's a good soldier. He's a good tactician. He has a good head on his shoulders. The only problem is, I don't know if it's a problem, but he just has not killed someone in the war, and he is gun shy, understandably so, to do that. And he's getting a little bit of advice from his colleague and superior, Sergeant Rock, played by Gene Evans. Gene Evans, by the way, like Samuel Fuller, served in World War II, and they were good friends for all of their lives. So they were lifelong friends. And Gene Evans is the lead in The Steel Helmet. And with this one, several months later, he is second in command as far as the co-star in Fixed Bayonets. The lead actor is Richard Basehart. So if you want to actually see a couple of good Gene Evans movies set in Korea, go check out The Steel Helmet and then check out this movie, Fixed Bayonets. The Steel Helmet is actually the more popular of the two, and because it's considered one of his best films, The Steel Helmet. But I find both of those movies are on the same level. Loved both of them. Sergeant Rock, played by Gene Evans, is telling Corporal Deno just to get over understand his nervousness about the war, his nervous feeling about being a leader. Because what'll happen is the challenge of the movie is to see if Corporal Deno has what it takes to become a leader. That's the biggest challenge of the film. Actually, in the micro, that's for that character, but the macro plot line centers on this division in this army, and I don't know how they're a very small unit of tough and gritty guys, and they're supposed to protect a mountain pass, okay, in Korea from the enemy, and they're supposed to pretend that they're actually a bigger unit so they can actually protect a 15,000 man division behind them. So it's pretty much a suicide mission that they were chosen on, and the rest of the movie shows how just moment by moment their position within this snowy mountain pass, and a lot of the movie shot within a cave, is their position is threatened, and of course their lives are threatened. And on the micro element, you have Corporal Deno realizing what's going on. Everyone is nervous, and his biggest nightmare is to actually become a leader. Because once the people who are higher up from him are killed in action, he will have to step up and actually, hopefully, lead his men to safety. Okay, so that is a premise of Fixed Bayonets. Some really good performances by Richard Basehart and Gene Evans. Cinematically, it's a really interesting movie visually because it's shot by Lucien Ballard, considered one of the great cinematographers of his day within the Hollywood system. Ballard is actually best known for his movies with Sam Peckinpah. He shot Ride the High Country and The Wild Bunch, and you can see his visual flair in this movie as well. And listening from this audio commentary, I learned that this was the first movie that Samuel Fuller actually had the use of a crane. So there's a lot of movement, camera movement in this movie, dolly tracking, pan shots of these men's faces. You get a lot of close-ups. Also, most importantly, just not on the visual element, you get the personal touch, the personal connection that Samuel Fuller had with his experiences in World War II. He wrote the screenplay to Fixed Bayonets. So all the little details, whether it's a scene centering on men, these group of army men in the cave, just trying to massage their respective feet so it doesn't fall asleep and they don't actually get frostbite. These are the little details that Fuller adds that possibly your average studio film of that day and maybe even today won't have. And there's just very different. There's also a very, very nervous situation regarding a soldier trying to rescue a fallen soldier amidst a sea of mines. For 1951, the way that pacing was, you're really locked in and you're hoping that both of these soldiers can get out of there alive. And it's very harrowing to watch. And there's just literally just very memorable moments within Fixed Bayonets. So as a movie itself, it's worth getting. The transfer looks good. You don't see too much. It looks very clear. It's a 4K restoration from Kino Lorber. So I haven't purchased this on DVD or rented it on YouTube or Amazon or whatnot, but it's worth the 4K restoration at whether it's at the $9.99 price or the $30 price. Because I think this movie is a 4.5 out of 5-star film for me easily. Possibly down the road, it'll be a 5-star film for me because actually I put it again, like I put it on the same level as The Steel Helmet. My favorite war film from Samuel Fuller is The Big Red One, which was one of the final films he made starring Lee Marvin and Mark Hamill, but more on that later down the road when I do some more Samuel Fuller videos here on the Find Your Films podcast and YouTube channel. The audio commentary is the bread and butter for the special features. You get audio commentary by film historian Michael Schlesinger, who has a conversation with Samantha Fuller, who is Samuel Fuller's daughter, and Krista Lang Fuller, the widow of Samuel Fuller. So you have Krista Lang and Samantha talking about the personal aspects of the making of the movie and their reflections of Samuel Fuller, some really bittersweet moments. I think it was Krista Lang who was talking about the final moment of Samuel Fuller's, the final day of his life on Earth when he passed. He passed in front of, I believe, both his wife, daughter, and one of the character actors in Fixed Bayonets. And that was a very bittersweet story that they shared with on the audio commentary. So you get a lot of these very personal insights in this extras. And the Schlesinger, even though he is a friend of the family, he tries to also keep, while listening to these stories, he also tries to keep it on track by talking about the various movie facts of Fixed Bayonets, which it's a really cool balance as they could go off and talk about Samuel Fuller for just hours on end. But this is what I think this is a 92 minutes. This is a 92-minute movie. So they actually have to talk about the movie. They have to talk about Samuel Fuller. So it's very engaging to see how Schlesinger and the Fullers try to balance out this commentary with the personal stuff as well as the Hollywood inside stuff for Fixed Bayonets. I mentioned Gene Evans and Richard Basehart. They're very good, but like most of Samuel Fuller films, it's the supporting characters that also provide color to the material, and the character actors are really well written and well played by the various character actors in Fixed Bayonets. Each of them has sort of a moment to shine. Fortunately, James Dean doesn't really have a moment to shine. It's just sort of a footnote because, again, his face is seen at the end of Fixed Bayonets. So that is my review. I really loved everything about this movie. I can't really say what I thoroughly loved about this movie until I get to the spoiler section of this review, which I'll be starting in a couple of minutes. So please, thanks again for your support. On the comments below, tell me what your favorite Samuel Fuller films are. Is Fixed Bayonets one of them? Have you seen this movie yet? Will you purchase this on Kino Lorber via Blu-ray, whether it's $9.99 or $30? Or please, bottom line is, if you're a Samuel Fuller fan, this is worth watching. So I will also, along with the Kino Lorber link, I'm not an affiliate. I purchased this movie from their website. Along with that, I'll put a Just Watch link where you can actually see if it's streaming in any of the platforms you used. Okay, so that is Fixed Bayonets. My rating, again, 4.5 out of 5 stars. Must see Samuel Fuller film. Great performances, great visual flair by cinematographer Lucien Ballard, and another personal, inspiring, and gritty, uncompromising, non-pandering story by the master Samuel Fuller. Okay, thanks again. Please like and subscribe to this Find Your Film channel. More Samuel Fuller stuff, maybe Brian De Palma movies, a bunch of movies I love, and maybe I'll review some of the movies you love. Tell me what Blu-rays and DVDs you have in your collection at home as well. So take care, guys, and I'll be starting my spoiler in 3, 2, 1. So yeah, just this is a very quick thought on the ending of Fixed Bayonets. And this is assuming that you've already seen this or you don't mind being spoiled. Some of the plot summary it's weird because it's kind of spoiler-esque. I'm trying to find the actual reviews that I've seen of Fixed Bayonets, but the idea that it centers on Corporal Deno, played by Richard Basehart. His biggest fear is to be a leader, and the only way he can be a leader is the people above his chain of command are killed. When you're watching the movie and you know that plot line, you're ultimately going to know that the people above him, including Sergeant Rock, played by Gene Evans, are killed. So it's a sad moment when Gene Evans dies in the movie, and he dies by a ricochet of the bullet in the cave. And it's interesting because I believe it was Sergeant Rock who talked about the dangers of a ricocheting bullet in a cave earlier in the story. He loses his life to a ricocheting bullet, and his final moments where you see a close-up of Gene Evans and telling Corporal Deno, I am dead, very haunting, among the more just, yeah, in my opinion, one of the more haunting moments in Samuel Fuller's body of work. Also, I really love the story structure of a guy who is, even though he's a good soldier, I wouldn't even call him a coward. He's just nervous to pull the trigger on the enemy and to shoot that person down. He overcomes it and shoots the enemy, a fellow soldier, at the end of the movie. And that's proves that he's actually can go through with killing someone, as well as he leads that operation to take down the tank at the end. So he ultimately becomes their leader by a de facto situation, by everyone in his chain of command dying. But what's interesting is once he realizes that, so once Sergeant Rock dies, he tells, it's a mantra that people say when their higher ups go, they tell everyone, oh, just basically clean him of his valuables, strip him of his valuables, bury him, and mark him down. So that mantra that was repeated from his higher ups when other people died, he now has to repeat that mantra when Sergeant Rock dies. That's very bittersweet and very effective writing from Samuel Fuller, great acting from Evans, and great acting from Richard Basehart. So yeah, I really love this movie, and it's one of these things that even though it's $10, I would have purchased it, to be honest, if I had more money at $30. I actually right now I wouldn't have purchased it at $30 because I need the cash. But when I saw $9.99 for Fixed Bayonets, I was all over it. So we'd love to hear what else other Samuel Fuller films. If you have any Samuel Fuller films on DVD or Blu-ray, hit me up. We'd love to see them and talk about more Samuel Fuller with you guys. All right, guys. Take care. Thanks again. Bye.